How's it going, my fellow Homo sapiens? It's your boy Uzumaki Hadou, and today I'm coming at you with a Berserker manga review. Berserker manga 344, Witch Valley. We get to meet some new characters, and we get a laugh on the way. This and more coming right at you next. After 6 months of waiting, we finally got another chapter of Berserker 344. Now the main question here is, how long is it going to be before Berserker goes on another hiatus? So let's go ahead and hop right into this manga review. If you haven't read the manga, please check out the manga, then come back and check out the review. So this chapter opens up with the fire statue laying in ruins at the feet of Guts. This destroyed. Now what's actually happening here is the forest is starting to catch on fire because of the fire statue. Guts' party is basically saying we have to get out of here or we're going to be engulfed in flames. And out of nowhere we have Morta. She floats back in on her broom and says, no, y'all thieves are going to die here. So she truly believed that these are pirates, these are thieves that's attempting to steal from this island. We have Shirk speaking up saying, no, we're not thieves. Morta looks at Shirk and is like, you're a magic user. Oh wow, you have a fairy also. And we see Morta, little crew, other sorcerers or witches on the ground basically saying, we told you to wait. We told you not to attack them. We told you to take your time and just chill out for a second. And basically what they were saying about Morta is she's stubborn. She's very, very stubborn. So the other sorcerers that's just kind of standing there, they're getting nervous. They're like, we're going to need a lot of magic to really put this fire out. They're like, we might have to call him. And out of nowhere, it starts to rain. It just starts pouring down raining, and we get a new character coming into the series. We got a new sorcerer, and that sorcerer name is, I believe you pronounce it Gurframe. Gurframe, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. And he looks pretty cool. He pulls up on a goat, and he's like, I would have been here sooner, but this goat is so old. It's getting old just like I am, and it took me forever to get here. But one thing I can say is, it seemed like Shirk was really, really stunned because he was able to use his power to manipulate the weather and make it rain to put out the fire. And if I'm understanding right, it takes a lot of skill and a lot of power to manipulate the weather like that. So I thought that was really, really awesome. So we have Gurframe basically coming up to Guts' party and talking to him and basically apologizing for the troubles they have went through. So we also find out that Gurframe already knew that Guts' party was actually coming. So Guts is like, you know, how did y'all know it was coming? And he told him, it's the Elf King. So I'm really, really curious now about the Elf King, because can the Elf King predict the future? Or can the Elf King know the future, or does it dream the future? So I thought that was really, really interesting and really fascinating. Now, another thing I'm kind of just going to pause for a second. I felt like this chapter didn't have a lot of new things in there. I felt like this chapter was more of a setup chapter for the next couple of months. So we have Gurframe basically talking to Shirk and was like, you know what, I knew you was coming. Your teacher told me in my dream. And basically, I believe her teacher name was Flora. I believe that was Shirk's teacher's name. Flora basically said, you know, take care of my student, train my student. And I thought that was very, very interesting, because now when we look at Shirk, I mean, Shirk, to me personally, she seemed pretty powerful already. But at the same time, she only had one teacher, and that was Flora. I think what they're doing now is they're going to start training her to make her even more powerful, give her a lot more skills, a lot more different abilities. Because when you look at all the other sorcerers there, they're like in a training school. There's the multiple sorcerers, and not just that, just multiple teachers that's teaching them different things, where Shirk was only trained by one person. So I thought that was really interesting. I feel like Shirk is going to get some new character development in the next couple of months. So I thought that was really, really fascinating. So Gurframe basically lets them know what? I'm going to go ahead and take you to the Elf King. We need to go ahead and head to the village. So after moving to the village, you see this big giant cherry blossom tree. I thought that was really, really awesome. I thought that was really, really interesting. So they're traveling through some woods, and you see some of these trees that have like the human faces, and they're over there petting the trees and going on. And it's funny because one of the trees wakes up and starts sucking on one of their arms. That was actually interesting. But they finally get to the village itself, and the village is really, really amazing. I mean, I like how it looks. It it's a lot of sorcerer houses all around. You see a lot of sorcerers practicing magic, training, doing circles, and learning different magic abilities. So I really like that about the village itself. Now, there's a few things that I'm really curious about. So we have Marta basically coming back, and she's asking, how is it on the outside? What goes on the outside? And I'm curious about that because she makes it seem like they cannot leave the island. And I wonder why. Was they born on that island and they can't leave? If you're born on that island, you can't leave? Or if you stay on the island too long, you can't leave? Because if I remember right, in the previous chapters, when you go to that island, time is much different. So if you're there on the island for a day, in the real world, on the outside world, it could be like maybe a year or 10 years can pass. So maybe these people was on the island so long that if they leave, they would probably turn extremely old and die off. So we also hear Girlfriend basically say that the Elf King probably can heal Casca. He can go deeply in her heart and probably heal her. Now, once again, I always talk about the prediction that the Skull Knight said. If Casca is healed, she might not choose Guts. She might want something else. And I always think about that. I'm like, you know, it is possible that if she's healed, she might choose Griffiths. And that is just shocking to me. I just don't know what's going to happen once she healed. Maybe she don't want to be healed. You know, you got to also think about that. You know, she went through all that drama. She lost all her friends. You know, coming back to reality could be a bad thing for her. But I really want to see Casca healed. But another thing I really felt I liked about this chapter is a lot of the sorcerers knew Puck. Like, everyone seemed to know Puck. And it's funny because one of the sorcerers, you know, Puck was coming back and he was talking to the sorcerer. One of the sorcerers was like, hey, you know, you took a bath in my cauldron. And another sorcerer was like, you drew symbols in my circle when I was training. And I was like, you know what? Puck seemed like he was causing a lot of issues when he was on this island. So I really thought that was funny. I really thought that was interesting. But I think overall that was the chapter itself. Not a lot of things happened in this chapter, especially after 6 months of waiting. I was actually hoping for a lot more, but this chapter here really was just a setup chapter, just to get us set up for the next few chapters coming up. Now, they did say, did you feel the outside world changing? They talked a little bit about the White Hawk Griffith. Yes, they said a little bit of things about him, basically saying how he's changing the world on the outside, and I thought that was really, really interesting. They looked at Guts for a second, and Guts really just had a plain face overall. I mean, he seemed a little happy in this chapter because it's possible that they can heal Casca, and I really do think they're going to heal Casca, but I want to know what's going to happen, what else is going to happen in the near future, because right now, what I took away from the chapter is Shirk is getting ready to get trained. She's getting ready to train with other teachers and other students to really kind of improve her skills. So I think that's going to be awesome. But you got to also think about the other members of Guts' party. They're going to need to train. They're going to need some new abilities. I feel like definitely Guts himself. I mean, Guts is very, very old. When you look at Griffith is young. He's glistening in the sun. You look at Guts, he's old. He got gray hair. I really want him to either get a new ability, maybe a new suit. Maybe they could de-age him since they own this island. Maybe they could make him a little bit younger. I don't know. I really would like to see Guts get some new powers or something new. Now, I thought something else was interesting. Again, Girlfriend said something like, you came all this way to this island for such a small wish. And I was thinking, I was like, I don't understand what he meant about that. Thus, when he said you came all this way for a small wish, do he mean that healing Casca is something simple? Is it something small? Are they going to get multiple wishes? Are they going to get multiple requests? You know, so I'm really curious about that. But overall, the chapter was okay. It wasn't no action. It was just basically a setup chapter. But if I left something out, please let me know in the comment box below. Please rate, subscribe, and comment. It really helps the channel. Thanks for watching. Matane.